Well, the Premier League is back, and today saw Manchester United versus Leicester. Final result: Manchester United won, Leicester won. Um, you know what? Let's get into it. Good afternoon, good evening, even good night to wherever you are in the world, and you're tuning in to the United Hour on a Saturday. This is the breakdown. I am your host, Big Phil. And we're going to discuss the performance of Manchester United at home versus Leicester City, right? But as always, I'm not going to do it by myself. I'm joined by President Chad, who looks to be in the savannah looking for more goals from Manchester United. How are you doing, buddy?
I can't complain, in the iconic Queen's Park Savannah here in Trinidad and Tobago, the largest roundabout in the world, literally walking on the savannah grass. Yeah, the sports bar was at is not far from the savannah. And I say, you know what? Go and take a little walk, try to cool my head after Manchester United tried to spoil my weekend again.
True. No. Definitely. A tad bit jealous because you get to walk around outside, and I have to stay inside because it's a bit cold up here, right? But let us not um without further ado, I should say, without further ado, let us get into this match right
We
now.
really had to talk about the match, boy, Phil, boy.
Well, that's what the breakdown is here for. We're here to
Gosh, boy,
review.
Phil, boy.
We're here to review. We did a preview, and it's only right that we do a review of the performance just now, right? No, like I said, Manchester United won, Leicester City won. It was, I want to say, an 18-day break since we played football because obviously it was the internationals that were for the last couple of weeks, right? Um, so, with regards to the starting lineup, there was no Cristiano Ronaldo or Edison Cavani available. So we actually had to play Bruno Fernandes as a false nine. And on the left and right were both Jadon Sancho and Anthony Elanga. This also was a chance for Paul Pogba to play in the number 10 to showcase what he can do. And obviously the likes of Fred and Scott in the pivot. And then our back four were Diego Dallo, Luke Shaw on the left, Rafael Varane, and the infamous Harry Maguire next to Rafael Varane, and obviously David De Gea in goal, right? Um, Before we get into the match, what are your thoughts on the starting lineup, President Chad?
Um, the starting lineup was cool, I mean, I personally would not have started Cristiano Ronaldo even if he was available
True.
because he played 2 games for Portugal. Really didn't look impressive in either of those 2 games. And we understand that Cristiano Ronaldo needs rest,
Correct.
and he needs rest between games. Now that we're only going to be playing 1 game a week, I expect to see Cristiano Ronaldo for every game for the rest of the season. So
Okay.
I really don't have a problem with the starting lineup. Um, I don't think that there was much Ralph could have done, with that starting lineup, except probably leave Harry Maguire on the bench. And after Harry Maguire got booed, I understand why Ralph started him. It wouldn't have been a good look for him to get dropped for the first game back. So no complaints about the starting 11.
Yeah. Now I was telling other people before the match, right? Before I continue, I'm gonna add Robert to the stream as well too. Better late than never. How you doing, Robert?
I hear, man. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Perfect, perfect,
I'm here.
perfect. Yeah, we just going through the starting 11, right? Now, on paper, it looks good. With Bruno playing that false nine, and then the other white players would have been able to press the opposition back four, right? I honestly didn't have a problem with the starting 11 as well. I thought, you know what? This was a lineup that could have done some sort of damage, right? But, I will say where, in my opinion, where some players were wrong, or where some players did well, right? Robert, what did you think of the starting 11?
It was the best that we could have done, because I mean, without having, like a striker, so we played Bruno in that kind of false nine thing, which we can't do. I thought that, I mean, push come to shove, maybe we should put Rashford on, from the start, have him in that number nine, and then have Ilanga and Sancho on either side, because I don't think Bruno knew what he was doing. I don't think Pogba knew like what he was doing. You know,
We
I
we
think
we're gonna
you
get
know
we're gonna get to that, Robert. We're
right.
gonna get we're gonna get to that, right? Trust me, I got a lot to say about that. But you know what? As Robert said, that was probably the best starting 11 that we could have put out based on who was available,
Hmm.
right? Um, now let's get into the performance of some of the players, right? Um, I can start with you, President Chad. Were there any standout players for you today, per se?
Fred, and that end of the second half save by David De Gea. That was a match saving save. I personally saw, I was like, oh gosh, we lost this game. It looked like it was going in. And then David De Gea with the monster save. And unfortunately, when Fred and David De Gea are your two best players, I think you know how things going and go for
Hmm.
Manchester United.
True. Before I get to Robert, I'm gonna go through some of the comments because there are some comments there, right? Mark Lewis on the YouTube side, thanks for joining, man. Mark Lewis is saying top four gone long time. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. For sure. Top four is out of
Hmm.
our hands. And I said that a while back. Said that probably um this is the month of April. I probably said that
Hmm.
the previous month beginning, right? So yeah. Mark Lewis again is saying players are mentally switched off. Yep. Yep. Definitely agree. I don't think the players are. I think the players have already accepted that the season is almost over, if not over already, right? You saw some of the comments from Paul Pogba during international break, and that kind of maybe reflected how some of the players are feeling as well too, right? So. Martin Phillip is saying, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon to you as well, buddy. Not sure what's so good about the afternoon, but I just say good afternoon, right?" Mark is also saying, played like we just waiting for this season to done. Yep. Like I just mentioned a couple seconds ago, players have already
Hmm.
established that, you know what, this season is a write off. We look forward to next season. Whether it's next season at a different team or the same team, who knows, right? Mark again is also saying Chad looking like that game will make him walk home. Boy,
Hmm.
the
Boy,
God
Mark,
game.
boy,
It's
I'm
true, boy.
feeling, I'm feeling that way, boy, Mark, boy. I'm feeling that way, boy. This Leicester, this 10th place Leicester, boy. We can't beat Leicester, boy. 10th place.
Hmm.
And you want to know the funny part about walking home from these type of scenarios, like you're feeling not that good. Once you start to ponder what the hell going on, you're home already. Doesn't how far home is. Home could be 5,000 miles away. You can
Hmm.
walk and analyze the first 90 minutes, and you will be home already. Because all you're doing is thinking and your legs doing the rest, right? I'm gonna bring in Caveman to the stream as well.
Richard is man.
Yo, Chad is walking home, boy. Chad has to be walking home. And then I'm gonna bring the last comment from
Nah,
Martin
I ain't
Phillip.
walking home. I just walking around the savannah.
Oh, jeez, boy. Manchester United 7 man for a walk.
It's true, boy. Martin is saying, if
Yeah.
the team isn't making top four, then now is the time to use some of your youth. Yes and no. You still want to maintain at least a top six challenge. But I get where you're coming from with regards to the youth, right? Caveman, how are you doing? How's your Saturday been so far?
Hey, man, my Saturday is great. United cannot let me down. They can't bring me down.
Nah,
My Saturday is good, man.
that's good, man. Thanks for joining, man. So
For sure.
yeah, if you're not tuning in, please like and please subscribe to the United Hour. We're reviewing the match versus Leicester. So Leicester did score from Iheanacho, and what I can start with you, Kev, man. What did you think of that goal from Iheanacho or the lead up to that goal? Right? Was there anything we could have done per se?
I think because we had the counter, and I think the guys dwelled too much on the ball. I think it was Fred.
It was Fred.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I think he dwelled. He took one touch too many. He could have played into Dalot earlier, and because of that, Tillemans was able to get him a tackle to this world, and there's not much defending you could do from then on because they got the ball forward quickly, like three touches, and fourth touch was in the back of the net. That's what you do when you're on counters. I saw United had a counter later in the game. Same situation when we got the ball from them.
Yeah.
We could have countered, and we took like 6 touches. They were able to get back in position. So there wasn't much we could do once. Who was it that assisted in Inacio's goal? Was it Barnes?
Yeah.
It was Dewsbury
James.
Hall to Barnes and then Barnes to
The Inacio? Yeah.
Iheanacho,
Yeah, that was a perfect ball. That
it
was
was.
one hell of a
It
ball.
was not Madison.
I don't think
It
it
was
was Madison.
Was it Madison? Let me check quickly on
Whoever
Sport.
it was one hell of a ball. Ain't much
Yeah,
defense could have done. I saw Pogba try to get out wide to cover it, but by then because of the counter that we was on, it was too late for Pogba to recover.
It was James Madison, yeah. Okay.
The mistake started from, I wouldn't even call it a mistake. It was just great tenacity by Tillemans to make sure he get that tackle in. But Fred could have probably delivered one less touch, get it into Dalot's ear.
You're saying Fred held on to the ball too long, maybe.
Yeah, that's the only issue I have with it, but you never know with these things, yeah?
Okay, true. Robert, I guess switch to us scoring now, because we had to find some sort of equalizer. Give me your honest opinion, Robert. Did you see us actually scoring a goal?
Yeah, I did. I mean,
Okay.
I knew that we would have scored, and I knew that they would have scored. The only thing was, if it was that the game would have been 2-1 to us, 2-1 to them, or a draw. And I was more looking towards a 2-1 for us. I was really hoping for a 2-1 to us because despite the performance, I was still hoping that we could pull something out. And the fact that goal was so, the goal came right after they scored.
Yeah,
It was like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Right after they scored. And normal teams, if they get a goal back right away, normal teams would then go on the front foot.
Yeah, use that momentum.
Right. We, unfortunately, are not a normal team because we decided for some weird reason, right, to not attack.
True.
As much as we should have. So,
Okay.
but again, it's a goal that came from us pressing. Bruno had the shot, he saved it, and Fred was there, for the tap in. not tapping ball, but yeah, but
It was still
tapping.
it's the goal still had to be finished, right? Because
Right, yeah. Mhm.
it wasn't the most difficult angles, but we've been following football for a lot of years, and we have seen professionals miss from there,
Exactly.
right?
Because
But
yeah, it did.
but
But it was a good. Yeah.
now before I stay with you, Robert, but
Mhm.
before I get back to you, let me go through a couple more comments quickly. Um, if this team isn't making top four, then it's no time to use. Martin is agreeing with Robert that it was Madison.
Okay.
And Jesus Lyle Hackshaw, thanks for joining. We just don't have quality on the ball, right? Now, sticking on Robert, because I did ask President Chad if there were any players who stood out, right? With regards to some of the performances from some players today, Robert, were there any players that you were disappointed with today?
Um. Well, where do I start? Um. hmm, I I don't know because I mean again I would say Bruno was lost. I mean it's not his fault because he was put in a position that he really wasn't comfortable with. But again, I still have to put some kind of blame on him, but not that much because at the end of the day, he was asked to do a job that is not really his. Pogba to me seemed very out of place. Luke Shaw again, getting injured again. It's like what is new? Dalo game breed, Teles game breed. You know, um, I saw so much of our players get breed. I am sure in next 9 months, about 8 men having babies.
We give
Sure.
birth.
Yeah, yeah,
True.
sure. Too much. It was just wrong. It was just sad, you know. But but I will say Fred was our man of the match for sure. I mean Dahia again, saving our skins, and VAR. VAR saved us again. Once again, VAR saved us. So
Not
yeah.
not 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 gonna lie, right? I also thought that Rafael Varane had a decent game as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Rafael Varane's forward passing was breathtaking. I'm tired of seeing players just playing the obvious pass, right? There are a couple of passes where Varane could have laid it off to Luke Shaw, obviously as an obvious pass. That were time, but there are also times Varane was laying it off to the likes of Elanga and Sancho just to spray a forward pass, just to spray a forward pass, right? And that was some sort of positivity, right? Um, President Chad, let me get to you. You did mention Fred was a standout player and David De Gea's performance in the second half. Any players you thought today, how you saying like WTF? Or am I being a bit too harsh?
I can't say any players had me saying that.
Okay.
The team lacked a cutting edge. The team lacked a cutting edge. There was sometimes Ilanga got on the ball and he just lacked that cutting edge. He had some shots that was, I mean, we had a lot of shots on target. Bruno had like two. Ilanga had a couple as well. But, there was nothing out of the ordinary for Schmeichel. There was not one save that Schmeichel made that just told yourself, wow, that was
Yeah.
a real good save. No, it was straightforward saves. We lacked that cutting edge as a team. Nobody had a stinker, in my opinion. Nobody had a stinker, but too many players were just below average. So for me, I can't really highlight one player in a negative sense. It was easy to highlight Fred and De Gea in a positive sense,
Mm-hmm.
but Sancho also had some opportunities. He had some opportunities on the ball. He just lacked that cutting edge. He lacked that killer instinct. We just lack that sharpness. Right now, Manchester United is a dull dull, blunt instrument. We just lack sharpness.
True. I come to you, Caveman, and I'm gonna touch on if some players were a bit naive today, or if some players did, and if some players didn't understand their roles today. Because I thought that there were about a good 3 or 4 players out there that were naive, and about maybe 1 or 2 players who didn't understand their roles today. What do you think of some of the naivety that was displayed today, Caveman, by some of the players?
Let me see. I heard you touch on Bruno. Bruno was drifting a lot. And you know what? This is something that this team needs coaching on, or the guys need to pick up on it, because back in the day, I hate to use this back in the day thing, but back in the day when a person leaves a position, there was someone there hustling to get into that position to cover for them. We didn't really see that, because with Bruno drifting, there wasn't anyone running into to be the point man to cover for him, man. But I can't expect too much from
But is
players.
that down to coaching or communication?
I think it's multiple things. Coaching, because you got to drill it into the players. But if these players aren't natural forwards, it's not gonna come natural for them.
Correct.
Even like ironically, even when Martial and Rashford, when they're playing up top, sometimes we see that happen, but they're not out and out strikers either. So it just shows how much we need for a point man, a number nine going forward. Naivety was Elanga's last moment. And you know what? You want kids making these kind of mistakes. It's only costly and painful because we didn't win, but it's all part of the learning curve, man. I know it's gonna be painful. He's gonna be dwelling on it because he could have stepped out the way. Rashford had the momentum with him. So just those 2 bits, just Bruno drifting, people not covering, no one being a point man, and Elanga's naivety at the end. Other than that,
I think that there should have been better communication when Marcus Rashford came on, right? Because
I was just about to say him and Telles were very ineffective for large parts of when they came on.
yeah, there was a time where Telles was gasping for breath, and I'm like, "You just came on, buddy." Fred had more energy, but that's not true, Fred, right? But Telles came on, and within like I think 20 minutes or so, this guy was gasping for breath. I say, "Wow, okay." But I just want to say that there should have been more communication between what do you call him? Bruno and Rashford. Right now, my take was when Rashford came on, Rashford would have probably played up top, and Bruno would then go back to his natural position of being a attacking midfielder, right? But
and they would have pushed Pogba. They would have pushed Pogba back as well.
Right. So Paul. So my take was that Fred would have been the anchor in front of the back 4, and then Bruno and Pogba would be the 2 creative 8s or whatever. Right. Now, I think there should have been better communication between Bruno and Rashford, because Bruno was initially playing up top, right? My take was that Marcus Rashford, when he came on, he would have played up top, and then Bruno would have gone back to the attacking midfielder position, right? But there were times that Bruno was pressing in front of Marcus Rashford, and that doesn't make sense. If you're pressing in front of Marcus Rashford, that means Marcus Rashford has to cover your space. Why not Marcus Rashford just press in his area and you press in your own area? But Bruno wasn't. Bruno was like being kind of like not disciplined. So I'm not saying that cost us the game, right? By the end of the day, there should be better communication, right? So
sometimes there was a flat front 4 because there was
exactly
Bruno supposed to drop back and dictate the play, but sometimes there was the front flat 4, and I was like, come on, man.
True, boy. But final score: United 1, Leicester 1. VAR did save us from that James Maddison winner, and I was kind of lucky that Iheanacho fouled Rafael Varane,
But
because
did he?
he did. Yeah,
He did.
he kicked him on. He kicked him on.
I
Was it the?
mean,
Thoughtful, but we
it was
taking it.
soft. It was
We
soft. Yeah, I
taking
mean,
it.
No,
yeah,
that's not soft. That wasn't soft. Don't lie.
I won't
it
say it
was
was soft.
soft. It
I
was
won't say it
soft.
was soft, but it was not malicious, right?
Right.
A
It's just a
foul
little.
is a foul is a foul. The foul the man and he make up the
Look,
goal.
It's just
That's that.
I call it
you
soft
trying to kick.
because they
You
get
trying to kick a
overlooked.
man
They
trying
get
you trying to
overlooked a
kick a
lot
man
during the
trying to get
game.
the ball. That's how I see it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. Let's go through the player ratings, and that'll be our last segment of the show. Player ratings. Let's start from David De Gea. Robert, give me your rating for David De Gea.
I'll give David an 8. 8 out of 10. You know,
Okay.
he did his job. You know, what more can you ask? You know, he did his job. You know, he saved whatever he had to save, and you know, the guy did his job.
President Chad, what's your take on David De Gea? What's your rating
David
for him?
getting a solid 7 for me, you know. A solid 7. He had one big save to make. He made it. And besides that, he really didn't have much to do, which just makes the outcome of the game even more upsetting because it's not like Leicester was running all over us. So yeah,
True.
7 for that.
Yeah.
Dave man, yeah.
6 for me. Um, like you said, like Chad said, he had that one big save and pretty much nothing. I think yeah, man, that's all I could give him, a 6, to be honest. Same old, same old.
Yeah. I gonna give him a 6.5 because of the big save, but then he
Yeah.
also had nothing else to do in the game, honestly. He just collected the ball. Leicester didn't test us per se. So yeah.
And his
I'm gonna,
distribution wasn't the best either, as usual.
true. I'm gonna stay at UK, man. Let's talk about the wing backs. Diego Dallo and Luke Shaw. What's your take on what's your rating for them?
Um, as a pair, because we got to include Tellus too, right?
Well, we include Tellez at the end because he was a substitute, right? So
Okay. As a pair, shoot, they get 5, mostly because Luke Shaw bring the rating down. But individually, I'll probably give Dallo a 6 also, and Shaw definitely a 5. Dallo had a rough evening, but I think he adjusted pretty okay. Because Harvey Barnes is no walk in the park to deal with. Very underrated player actually. Shaw, I don't know what's going on this season, but Shaw just let older starts this season. Another injury. I mean, you can't predict these things, you can't control them, but it is frustrating to see, he's not having a good season, plus he's being in and out the squad all the time. So 5 for Shaw, 6 for Dallo. Dallo did put in some good crosses too, so definitely a solid 6, probably a 6.5.
the thing is for me with Dallo, right? Dallo didn't win the ball from Harvey Barnes, but Harvey Barnes didn't get past Dallo. That's how I see it. Like Harvey Barnes was like so physical for Dallo
He had
that
him
he just won
blowing.
the ball all the time, right? So
He had Dallo blowing.
yeah. President Chad, wing backs, player ratings.
All I have to say about Luke Shaw is when you play like that, that's why you don't feel loved playing for your club. You understand? When you play like that, you're not gonna feel love because the fan base not gonna give you love for that kind of performance.
Yeah.
And Diego Dallo is not good enough to be a Manchester United player. He is average. He did very well in holding Barnes because Barnes seemed to be the most threatening player for Leicester. But when it comes to going forward, his delivery in the box was not special at all. It was not. And I, for one, I just wouldn't be sorry if he leaves. I won't. We need better quality at Manchester United. We deserve better. That's my thought. As far as ranking goes, Shaw could get 5 and Dallo could get a 6.
What about you, Robert?
Um, Luke Shaw. Well, since he only played half the game, he'll get half the marks. So he gets a 3.5. He'd have gotten a 6, but he didn't play the whole game. So he get a 3.5. Right? Um,
It does. The way how Robert broke that down, it does make sense. It does make sense. So,
you should have played the whole game.
true.
Um, the low, I don't know. The low is a very strange one because you know you see you see the you see the again that would the potential in him, right? You see the things that he does better than Wan Basaka. You mean you see it,
Yeah,
but
true.
then there are times when you see his feelings, and yes, he did contain Harvey Barnes, yes, but at the same time, going forward, you know, yes, he was there, but the crosses could have done work. I mean, it just didn't work. I mean, there were times, especially coming down to the end of the game,
Hmm?
where another, you know, if that was a trend, that ball would have reached,
Nah, I
you know.
can't compare it to the best.
No, I'm just saying, if it was
Oh,
a Daniel Alves from back in the day, the ball would have reached. There are Kieran Trippier with a reach, and you're not hitting those marks, But I mean, I will still give him a 5. I'll give him a 5 because he did well, but he didn't do well enough. He didn't do well,
Yeah.
and I'll give Luke Shaw's baby a 9 because she will be beautiful. You know what I mean? She'll be beautiful. She'll be a beautiful bouncing baby girl, beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Diego Dallo for me was the better of the two wing backs. Um, I don't know. I'm just done. I don't want to say I'm done with Shaw, but I kind of that frustration I used to have for Shaw, like a couple months ago, it's
Yeah,
totally gone
that's
away. Just numb, just numb to that right now, right? So
because
Shaw,
even
Shaw gets a 5 for me.
even in his when he was there, I mean, he didn't do that much. At least Tellez was trying to do something. Not that Tellez made anything better, but at least he was doing something. To me, Shaw just doesn't make sense. I didn't understand like why Shaw even began the match in the first place. To me, it should have been Tellez, but you
Well,
know,
I guess Shaw started due to the likes of well, his performances for England, I guess, right? So
Yeah, but I don't know
Diego,
if you all remember early on in the game, there was a time when Bruno Fernandez you could see he was showing Shaw movement and where he should be and shouldn't be,
mm-hmm,
and the movement that Bruno wanted him to make. Why
mm-hmm.
Bruno Fernandez had to tell you how to defend?
Do y'all
Why?
do
a
y'all
lot of these
remember, right?
players checked out mentally. You could tell.
Yeah,
Shaw is one
but
of Rashford
do
is one
you?
of them. Bruno is he's plugged in.
Mm,
Gotta like that about Bruno.
but this is something Bruno has been doing since he came. Bruno, I
No.
remember there were a couple of when Bruno first signed.
Mm-hmm.
About 3 or 4 matches in, Bruno Fernandes had to be telling Jesse Lingard where to position himself. Can't remember what match that was, but Bruno was like, "Yo, get into this space. There's nobody there. Get into that space. Don't drift out wide to make it difficult for me." But
mm.
with regards to player ratings, Diego Dallo, he gets a 6 for me. Now we go to the centre back pairing of Rafael Varane and Harry Maguire. Now, in my opinion, I don't think those two put a foot wrong today. I could be wrong. I don't know if I was wrong to watching a different match, but you guys can tell me what you think. I'll start with Caveman. Varane and Maguire.
Like you said, Varane was spreading the ball around, very purposeful. Maguire was defending. There was a time when Dallo got beat by Barnes, when Barnes not megged him, and Maguire was there to cover him. Maguire did well today. The only issue isn't really an issue because of VAR, because of the fall on Varane, because before he came in. I would give both of them a 7, to be honest. Wait, Yeah, you really can't put nothing. I don't think you could put anything wrong for any of them.
Yeah.
McGuire was pretty solid defensively. His covering, even times when he had to get in behind Dallo and get the ball upfield. He needed that performance. With all that's been going on with him leading up to this game, he needed that performance. And I like the small tweak that McGuire got moved to the right center back and Varane got moved to the left center back, because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah. But Maguire's normally passing the ball to Shaw most often because Maguire's normally at left center back, right?
And he's McGuire is more comfortable at right center back, and when Varane was playing next to Ramos, he usually plays left center back. So I wonder if this is going to be the forward pairing with their positions going forward. So I'll give both of them a 7, no less than a 6.5 since we conceded. But that goal that they conceded wasn't even their fault. So I will stick with the 7.
President Chad, did Maguire and Varane put a foot wrong today? And what's your rating for them?
Maguire and Varane look good. They look good. Maguire needed a good game, and he had a good game. He made some crucial interceptions in the first half. Some balls being squared in, and he put a good foot in. So I will give both of them a solid 6. It's very hard after having an overall disappointing performance to give anybody a 7. So for me, we get a solid 6. You know what I mean? A solid 6.
A solid 6 is 6.5 for you, or just 6 flat?
Nah. 6. Just 6.
6 with confidence versus 6 with hesitancy.
A confident 6.
Am I getting deep? Am I getting deep in these player ratings, boy? What were you, Robert? What's the player rating for Varane and Maguire?
I would have to say a 6 on. I'd say a 6 because Varane did nothing wrong. Maguire did nothing wrong. Surprisingly, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. But to be fair, Leicester made life very easy for them. Didn't have much to do. Really.
Leicester is dog poop.
Right. So
the team is crap.
Right. So I can't give them anything higher than a 6 because when you're playing against children, you're supposed to look good. You should look good. You should. So actually, no, I'm sorry. I'll give them a 5. 5, average.
Oh, 5. Okay. Wow.
Both of them, yeah. No, I mean, you have to because they did nothing wrong, but then they didn't do anything really great. There were times when Leicester were able to pass through us. There were times where Maguire could have done things differently. So again, they didn't have a bad game, but then they didn't have a good game. It was very average. Yeah. That is the word of today. Average.
Yeah. Let's go to our midfield. That composed of the pivots of Scott and Fred. I guess stick with Robert. What's your player ratings for Scott and Fred?
Fred, I will have to give my 8. He was my man of the match. The man did everything that he was supposed to do. He made a couple errors here and there, but that is, that to me is minor matters. Scott didn't do much. I would give Scott 5.5. Because he didn't do much to me. He didn't add to the game, but then he didn't take away from the game either. It was a very weird thing, To me, the game made more sense when he came off and Rashford came on.
Do you think Scott should have been sent off?
No. For what? That to me was soft. I just find it too much softness, man. People need to know to take a foul. You know, get a little kick in your face and just get up. You know, these are the soft footballers. You're too soft. Get up. You know, to me it wasn't that serious. You know,
Okay.
it really wasn't.
President Chad, what's your take on the player ratings for Scott and Fred?
Fred will get a 7 because he was definitely Manchester United's man of the match. And Scott will get 6.5. And the reason he gets in that half is because of that sliding tackle on Madison. That is what we're talking about. You understand? That's the best thing Scott did whole game was send Madison flying and hurting his big toe. So
Was,
Scott for me,
was that a sending off moment or was it too soft?
no. Scott McTominay went for the ball 1. 2, yes, he caught Madison with his studs, but his studs wasn't up. His foot wasn't like this. His foot was like this, going for the ball. And therefore, I mean, how else you want him to go for the ball?
But
Right? If his foot was like this,
could you agree that a different referee for a different player would have given that a red card?
A referee that support Liverpool, probably, yeah, sure.
No, a yellow man, a yellow. For the most.
But any proper referee, no, that's not a red card. That's not a red card offense.
Okay, no problem. Caveman, Scott and Fred.
I totally forgot about Fred's rating. But I'll give him a 7, so that means I got to bump Varane and Maguire back down to 6.5. McTominay, he's not a CDM. I don't think he did a good job today defending the center backs, because even though Leicester City weren't getting much shots on target, they were still getting off a lot of shots, especially in the first half. And a lot of it came from poor communication between him and Fred and poor positioning. So, but as a point man, defending the defense, he takes the brunt of the responsibility. So he gets a 5 from me. Fred did everything that he needed to do. He had a rocky first 15 minutes, but then he recovered and pushed on and went from strength to strength to the end of the game. Got his tackles in, got his pressures in, got his goal, the all-important goal. He was just all over the place as usual, man. So gets a solid 7, definitely man in the match.
I'm going to give Scott a 6.5, and I'm going to give Fred a 7.5, right? Fred going forward today was really good. Fred being in the position to capitalize on the spill from Casper Schmeichel also is the reason I'm giving him a good 7.5 today. Scott, I can't think of anything Scott did well today, but I can't think of anything Scott did poorly other than the tackle.
He got nutmeg too.
Yeah, he got a nutmeg. Yeah, I saw that. He got a nutmeg from Harvey Barnes, I think. Yeah, I saw that nutmeg. Yeah,
in front of the fence.
Yeah, but other than that, I can't really think of anything outstanding that Scott did, right? So Scott gets like a 6.5, right? The other midfielder, Paul Pogba. Caveman, Paul Pogba playing as a number 10 today, right behind Bruno Fernandes. What's your rating for him?
A 6. He didn't do anything effective. He kept the ball moving at times, but he did nothing spectacular, nothing that, like, yes, that's what I'm talking about, Pogba. But he also didn't do anything horrible. The only two things I could think about, the only thing I could think about was him trying to recover for the assist that Leicester scored from. Like I said already, that was out of his reach. So yeah, man, 6. Ineffective. Yeah.
I was just about to call him President Chad, but I gotta go straight to Robert then. Robert, what's your rating for Paul Pogba today?
5. He didn't impress me that much, but I would say a 5. Again, he didn't do much things wrong, but he just seemed very lost today. So I'll just give him an average 5. Again, I would say most players
Yeah.
today would just average.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with both of you. Paul was a bit average today. Nothing that was a difference maker, but nothing that would have made you say like, "What the hell are you doing, Paul?" Right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Phil,
I,
let me call on me so because I got to get off this call. Um,
yeah, yeah. So give me a guess on Bruno, Sancho, and Elanga's ratings then.
um, Bruno, All right, let me go. Well, Sancho and Elanga, they were both inconsistent. With the passing, with the dribbling. I was actually more confused with Sancho's dribbling and passing. So I think, like Robert said not too long ago, everyone was pretty average today, except for Tellez. Tellez was below average for me. Um, he was the worst player on the pitch for me, actually,
Yeah.
when he came on. Um, so I'll give Sancho and Elanga 6s for sure. Bruno gets a 6.5 because he was pretty average also, but he got the shot off that caused issues. Fred
Mm-hmm.
was able to rebound, to get the rebound. That's the only reason Bruno gets a 6.5. But my thing is with Bruno, he takes too many touches. He dwells on the ball too much. He takes too many touches with the ball. He doesn't get the passes off quick. He has to find balance, to be honest. Because then I'd be complaining, he rushing the pass. But I saw him take some early passes, but then he was spreading the ball pretty good. So I guess he's finding that balance. But his roaming today was an issue, especially without the communication. So 6.5 for Bruno. For the subs, I'm gonna just go ahead and knock off the subs. Rashford 5, Tellez 4. Who was the other sub? Matic.
Yeah.
Matic was sub. Matic was 6. I saw Matic pressing. I saw Matic closing people down. I saw Matic getting in tackles. Matic passing the ball. I'm like, geez, boy, if we had Matic, if we
Yeah.
had with Matic from a few years ago, we would have
Mm.
stuff, man. Because he's still got some
The intelligence is still there. That's what I would say.
intelligence, definitely there. He's still got some energy with it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are my ratings. I call Rashford, yeah, Rashford 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else. All right, y'all.
Yeah, man, Cave, man. Thanks for joining us, man. Have a good weekend, man.
Yes, sir. All right, fellas. I'm out.
All
Yeah,
right.
man. Yeah, Robert. Player ratings for I guess Sancho, Elanga, and Bruno.
Uh, S- Sancho, I will give a 5.5. Again, same thing. Nothing. To it was just very average. Like he would do something good, okay, yeah, but then he would also misplace a pass. He would he wouldn't pass like when he should. You know that Sancho can beat players, and then I asked myself, and why don't you take on more players, because they were there, just take them on and just see what happens. Okay, fine, even if it doesn't work, but just keep trying. But to me, there was no trying, he didn't seem that, he didn't seem to want to drive at players today. Um, Ilanga was trying very hard. He was, you know. I would give Ilanga a 6, because he was trying, but again, is you're trying, but then again, your trying isn't really doing much for the team.
True. I
You
agree.
know, you're you're trying very hard to make things happen, but then nothing really happens. So I'll give him a 6, and then I'll give Bruno. I don't know. I'll give him a 5.5. Because actually, no, I lie. I'll give him a 6 because I think in the first half he was very confused. But once we brought on Rashford, he began to dictate the game a little bit more. But But by that time in the game, I think it was just too late.
Yeah,
To
true.
really have any kind of. We missed having a striker, and this is the reason why. This is what happens, right? When you have one striker that is 35 and injury
Yeah,
prone,
37
and you
boy, yeah.
have one is 37, you know, y- and we and then you see the player who shall not be named, you know, we don't know what is his situation. We don't know. I mean, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? Is he still in his weird place? I mean, no one knows. But a game like today would have been a really good game for him to be in. Because
True.
I think him being there, I think we would have had an outlet. You know, but we had no outlets. So I will give Bruno a 6. I'll give Bruno a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep it short, man. You did touch on Sancho not taking on much players, and that is something I
Mm,
alluded to after I watched the first half performance with a couple of other people chatting on WhatsApp. Sancho for
mm,
me gets a 5.5. Elanga gets a 6. In my opinion, Bruno gets edged to a 6.5 because of him able to have a shot which allowed Casper
Fred, yeah.
Schmeichel to save it
Mm,
and then Fred to punks on it as well too, right? So he gets a
mm,
6.5. Substitutions, Tellez 4, Matic 6.5, Rashford, I didn't even know he was playing, so he gets a 5 for me, right? So
mm, mm, mm.
yeah, I think our next segment is Old Talk tomorrow.
Yep.
But you know what? This has been the breakdown for this Saturday. Like I said, final score is Manchester United 1, Leicester City 1. Big thanks to Robert and also
Mm,
President Chad and Caveman for joining us. I am
mm.
your host, Big Phil, and this has been the breakdown.